All right, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Senpai Kouhai. What else rhymes with the I? I mean, I already did pies. No lie podcast. I'm your host Trey. This is my other host, Steven. Sup, guy?
Oh, not much. Just ready to get talking about some nerdy shit again.
I thought we weren't talking about nerdy shit anymore.
Oh, was it algebra this week?
Yeah, we're talking math.
Oh man, I got a lot of stories from the math club back in the day for you.
Oh, good.
No,
Oh,
not good.
okay.
Anyways,
Were you in
moving
the
on to the
math
nerdy
club?
shit. Yes, I was. I was also on academic decathlon. Don't make
Okay.
that face.
Okay. Yeah, we'll let that ride.
Whatever.
I don't even know where to take that.
Yeah, just drop it.
I
Drop it,
hope
and let's talk about some anime titties.
the last time I heard about a math club was Mean Girls, and those guys didn't come out okay.
Oh man,
I think
I
it's the second time we talked about Mean Girls here. I need an anime Mean Girls. I feel
you
like that'd be
you
fun.
need to watch a different movie. Mean Girls isn't even that great.
Wow. That's a hot take. That's a hot take. Mean Girls is pretty great. But
I
you know
will
what?
say it gave us Rachel McAdams, so I'll take it.
It's also a generational gap, I feel like. 'Cause
Mm.
you had Clueless. I had Mean Girls.
That's a fair point. I never even thought of it that way, but absolutely, that's a solid point. So
I
I guess
don't
it's
I
yeah.
don't know what this new generation has.
Uh,
I think they still rely on Mean Girls just because it's almost relatable, but it's just not modern. There's no
yeah.
modern parallel to it at the moment. Anyway, so on the Senpai Kohai podcast, we do talk about anime and video games, but primarily anime, not just Mean Girls. I can save that for another episode. That I can do that one solo. um,
Just like a 30-minute monologue about Mean Girls.
why stop at 30?
Oh Jesus.
So we normally start this up, Stephen, with a game,
Oh boy.
a little
Here we are.
a little game. And so this week's game is anime weapons,
Oh
and
boy. Okay.
it may not be too bad. I think some of these are kind of yeah, I really don't know. So we're
Yeah.
we're gonna see the first one is called Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer.
Hmm.
Oh, wait, isn't that the Berserk sword?
Damn. Yep, it is. It is. See,
Yeah.
like you got it.
Well, it's always such an odd name because he fights demons primarily. So
He
it's
doesn't
always
fight. He doesn't fight dragons.
not that I recall, but I'm about to reread the whole series again here soon. I'm waiting for my deluxe editions to come in of the manga. So
Did you get the leather bound ones or those special edition
yes,
right stuffs?
yes, they're like
Ooh,
freaking like $38 a piece. But
totes.
I gotta say this. Deluxe edition manga that's like in nice hardbound, like quality releases is on it. Like at first I was like, oh, that's not authentic. Like when I was younger, I was just like, that's not authentic. I don't want to get that. And I have them now. I'm like, this is a solid purchase. These are great. I have the 25th anniversary Magic Knight Rare, like full size, like hard book sized manga volumes in the two box sets, and it's amazing. It's like my favorite way to read manga now.
Hmm. I don't know. I think I just need physical manga. Really, is my
Hmm.
thing. Like I've read the most out of Shaman King, and I haven't read that much manga in a while. I had the Shonen Jump app for a while. I did their little monthly subscription thing for like $2, but I never got far. And I think I just found a bunch of manga that were all in the same vein or same genre,
Hmm.
where it was main dude turns into monster, fights baddies, and I was like, this is. It was just what was hot then. That was when Chainsaw Man came out, actually.
Hmm.
Chainsaw Man. There was Kaiju number 8. That was big then. And something else that Shonen Jump just kept promoting. I mean, not shitting on them. They were really cool. I liked reading them, but it just bored me out on them. Anyway, I got 4 other of these weapons for you. Uh,
I was gonna see. I was waiting to see how far down the rabbit hole you go.
it was gonna be bad. It was gonna be bad. I had to read. I looked at my little Word doc here, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's right." So next up is scissor blades.
Scissor blades.
Scissor blades.
Okay. Well,
These started off as 2 separate ones.
oh shit. Isn't this Kill la Kill?
It is. It is.
Yeah, it's when the two characters combine their weapons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or no,
But that's just what
no,
they're called individually
yeah,
too, and
yeah,
then it becomes a scissor blade. I think. I
yeah.
don't remember.
It's a whole part of the
It's
plot,
a
so I kind
mess.
of don't want to say more details than I have to. Um,
It came out like 10 years ago. If you didn't watch
Look,
Kill la Kill
Kill
by
la Kill
now,
is
you're not. No,
fantastic.
it is. But if you've passed Kill la Kill on a menu and you didn't decide to watch it, you're not going to at this point.
No,
You're
absolutely. Like if you're listening to this right now and listening to Trey's advice, he's wrong. If you see it, just watch it.
you should,
Absolutely fantastic.
but you know how you click over something and you see like a snippet of the show, sort of a teaser trailer, and really, if what you see doesn't grab you from Kill la Kill, then you're not going to watch it yet. You're
Mm,
not ready. It's
not
it's
ready.
you're not. It's God.
Your culture
It's
level is too low.
I rewatched it when I bought the game, the Kill la Kill If game.
Hmm.
That disappointment of a gem. Um,
I
but I
think it
did
goes on sale for like $10 now.
as it should for free. I'm sure it'll be monthly on one of the free monthly ones. Um, but I did really enjoy watching the anime again. I was like, oh, I forgot this happened, and then
Yeah,
watching.
I actually bought the really expensive Aniplex box set because I love Kill la Kill so much. So
Yeah, as you should. Next up, Wolfwood Punisher.
Wolfwood Punisher. Okay, before that, I also want to say with the scissor blade thing, made me think of Mysterious Girlfriend X because she uses scissors, but I was like, that's not the answer. Wolfwood
Mm,
Punisher is probably Trigun. It's
yes,
yeah.
dude, you're killing it. You thought you wouldn't be good at this, but you're killing
It's been
it.
a long time since I watched Trigun. I own it. I should pull that back out and watch it. It's a fantastic show.
I think my brother watched it and really liked it, and I think Rob is working on watching it at some point.
Oh yeah, have
Yeah.
you not watched it?
No, I've meant to. I've heard. I don't think it's near as long as I thought it was. I
No,
thought it was
it's
like 100 episodes.
no, it's like
But
26 episodes in a
yeah,
movie,
yeah, it's
and
not even bad.
it's absolutely a show that's in your wheelhouse. Goofy main character, guns, like kind of western like hijinks. It's the right amount of progress. Like I mean, the show starts at like a good solid 4 or 5, and quickly by the end shoots up to like high drama like 9 area.
I like that. That's good. That's good for
Yeah,
me.
there is moments of tears, moments of hilarity. It's everything.
Hmm. Yeah, I need to add that to the queue. Next up is Death Scythe.
Death Scythe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, is this sorry, I went Gundam Wing, but what you're talking about is actually the weapon, or in this case of Soul Eater, where the weapons are also essentially sentient and can turn into humans.
Mm. Well, you got me. I haven't seen Soul Eater, so yeah, I
How
have
have you not seen some of the biggest series like in the fandom?
because I was too busy watching Naruto.
You were too busy watching High School of the Dead.
A few times, a few times.
Right, I don't blame you.
It's the path of the degenerate. It is what it is.
You need to watch that.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Soul
not
Eater.
fair. That's not fair. The anime's decent, but it's different from the manga at a certain point, and the manga is better. The
Mm.
anime ending is like if you don't read the manga first and just watch the anime, it's a solid watch.
I remember it was really popular whenever I think Netflix was getting bigger and bigger
Hmm.
on the digital stream,
Yeah,
stream, whatever. And it just kept popping up. Like it was just one of their few that just kept showing in circulation. Um, but I just never got around to it. It just didn't have uh, an appeal like I guess Bleach or Naruto or Shonens did.
oh, it's better. The level of comedy, the art style, even better. It has a TM Revolution opening song. So yeah, it's a banger.
Okay, okay. Final one, final weapon.
Okay,
Buster Marm sword.
Buster Marm.
Hmm. I don't know what it is either. I just saw it from an anime. Every time I look these up, I go, what am I gonna get him with this freak?
I like the throwing the Marm in there is kind of throwing me off because I'm like Cloud, but that's Final Fantasy VII and not an anime. I mean, I guess Advent Children could be considered an anime, even though it's CG. I
I'll give
when
you a
is
hint.
uh
These people form guilds, and
Is it from
have.
Fairy Tale?
It is. It is. Do you, okay.
I'm trying to remember the character in this
Hang on.
case.
I think I can look it up.
Yes,
Excuse my clicking if you can hear that. I'm
I
gonna
can
try to
hear you
find out what
clicking.
this Buster Marm is. The Voltron. Ooh man, a lot of good choices here.
Yeah, Voltron's a fantastic series.
I
I
mean,
think its original name is Go Lion.
oh, that's not cool.
What, the original name of the
Yeah,
series?
yeah, Go Lion. That's lame.
Oh man, there's a whole bunch of combining mech shows from back then that are fantastic. It's one of the reasons I love Gurren Lagann so much, because it's essentially from the beginning all the way to the end is a love letter to like every decade and genre of mecha anime, combiners and you know, kind of like uh the sheer willpower, like the
Yeah.
power of friendship winning through. There's like
Mhm.
the more like techie stuff later on. It's like, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. And then there's like this, they get into like the space battleship kind of things going on in the later part of the series, and
Yeah.
very reminiscent of Gundam. And yeah, I'm a huge fan.
So the Buster Arm sword is a magical sword that is roughly 4 times the size of the person wielding it. The sword is comically giant, but that also makes it incredibly deadly due to its size and sharp, deadly edge or double-edged blade. The Buster Arm is able to easily cut through the earth with little to no effort put behind it, and it can also easily cut through iron. It doesn't say who wields it. I'm looking at a guy who looks like a Pegasus, sort of. He looks like he has wings, a yellow coat. Does this ring any bells?
Sounds kind of, no, I don't know. You'll have to show
Okay,
it to me later. I don't like,
I'll do
I've
that.
lost interest at this point.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not spreading fiction out here. Is the Buster Marm is the am
Like,
I
if
real?
you are, we'll put in a correction next time. We'll be like, hey, just so everyone knows, Trey was wrong
Mm-mm,
again.
I'm not doing that. I'll edit that out. I'll edit it. So, apart from these goofy games, Steven, what are you watching? I know we're both on, or actually not anymore, since you finished the grand entrance today of Shaman King.
Yes, Shaman King 2021's first part was released on Netflix, and I somehow managed to get myself a Monday off. And I decided, instead of being responsible or productive in any way in my apartment, I would sit down and watch all 13 episodes in one go. And boy, oh boy, was I not disappointed. And the thing is this is old world shonen. This is like late 90s, early 2000s shonen, that when he was making this. Um, and he expressed interest in making a reboot of the series, because the original series in 2001 uh diverged at a certain point story wise, because he wasn't done with the series yet. So it was kind of an original ending, kind of like the first series of Full Metal Alchemist. And so he had kind of mentioned that he'd be interested in doing a reboot. And apparently he had already had an offer earlier, like I think it was like 2017 or something like that.
Yeah,
But he wanted to bring back the original cast members and in other parts of the show, that came from the first adaptation. And his first offer, they didn't want to do that. They wanted all new talent and everything in there. And he was like, nah, I'll wait. And so that's how we ended up getting to the point where we are now. But that's the thing, is this is still ultimately like older shonen. And he brought back a lot of the original voice actors from the first adaptation. And I believe even the English voice actors were brought back from the earlier adaptation as well. So whether you're watching it in the dub or the sub, you're gonna hear people you've heard before. And I think that's a really cool fact. And then there is like the opening like shows you a bunch of the characters, and so technically it's kind of a spoiler, but that's how anime openings were back then. Is like they wanted to showcase all the characters in the show, so a lot of times they all put them like right in the opening. So if you had any kind of like deductive reasoning, you could figure out some stuff from the opening. um, in that same vein, there is also a very 90s opening song sung by Megumi Hayashibara, who is also the voice of Anna, and they brought her back. And they basically made a song like that's in the style of back then. Like if you listen to it, I think it's called Soul Salvation or something like that. It's very reminiscent of earlier anime, which made my little old ass excited. I was like, yes, let's do this. And I think the ending song is actually Megumi Hayashibara too, though it sounds like her Vocaloid character singing. Either that or they got her to kind of like edit it down to be a little bit different sounding from the opening song. But man, where do I start? The animation is really solid. They it's still clearly made in an older style. Like they reuse some frames, kind of like older things. But this is still digital art. They've really cut out a lot of the chaff. Like in the old series, there are certain story beats that would take 2 episodes, maybe 3 episodes. They cut out a lot of the extra stuff. It's very there's a lot of content to cover in 52 episodes because I mean it's the entire series they're animating. So some of the early episodes in the original run it kind of went a little long, and in this version they cut out a lot of the longer cuts of like scenery and things that you saw in the first series, and just really get it down to brass tacks. They cover I think they cover what was like probably a third of the last run in like 12 episodes. So it's really well done. It's not bad or anything. The voice acting is fantastic. The action is pretty good too, but the story is really about like classic shonen stuff. You know, you got Yo, who's your protagonist, and he learns and advances by fighting different enemies, and then he makes friends along the way, and they form their own little team, and then you start finding out some bad guys and kind of leveling up from there. It's very shonen, and I love it. It scratches my old anime itch, but with a newer kind of style and sheen on it.
Yeah, no, it's great. I was very nostalgic watching the first episode. I mean, I didn't even watch it, but it's very childhood inducing or nostalgia
Mm-hmm.
inducing, I guess is a better way to put it. But yeah, the opening was really, really exciting. Uh, I mean, I didn't even know everyone that was going through
Yeah.
because it's just so much to take in at once.
Oh
But it,
yeah.
it was very insane, just everything moving around, and you get to see everyone. It was super cool, and it was funny reading. Or so I was reading Shaman King for a bit. I need to go back and finish the first omnibus I have, but they covered a lot of chapters in the first episode. Like I want to say like the first major arc got covered in the first episode. Um, which I mean I didn't have a problem with. It was really cool. I liked how they did it better than they did Digimon when they rebooted that, and they just recapped a whole movie almost in an episode or two or
Oh yeah,
three.
that's right. We talked about that.
And I thought this was a little bit more respectful because you could, I don't know, work with material better. I don't know. It was weird, but I really enjoyed it overall. I was really excited to get to the next episode. Since I was reading it, I liked seeing Manta because Manta has these insane faces that he makes whenever he's
Oh
like
yeah.
shocked or upset, and they actually just use the ones from the manga. Like whenever he gets caught in the graveyard, and the long-haired guy's like, "Oh, you're the one that's been here digging by the graves," or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, I did it." It's
Yeah, the faces on Manta and his reactions are fantastic. Manta is actually low key the main character of this series.
yeah,
Like
he really
Yo's
is.
there, but Manta's the main guy.
He's the narrative pusher, but Yo is the one you're backing, but you're living this through Manta. It's
Absolutely.
so great. I'm excited to get through the rest of it here in the probably by the end of the week. I'm looking to get through watching it.
They
I'm
do
also
mix in sorry, real quick, the little last thing is they do mix in later story beats earlier in the series to kind of keep you going. Like that was kind of one of the things about the original run was some of the actual like main story plot beats didn't come until way later, and it's like it would have been nice to know ahead of time to kind of like have a little more context, and they did that with this one. So it's a solid watch for anybody, and it's paced at the right it's paced perfectly.
yeah, like the very first opening scene um, was not the what I read in the book, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Yes.
A spoiler alert! I don't know what's going on. I
No.
guess.
It gives the series a little more like heft, like an overarching story beat to
Mhm.
kind of look forward to, because like if you've read the manga, when the manga and even the old original anime started out, it seemed kind of episodic and minor, and then it tried to do this big epic plot moment later, and so it was kind of jarring, and I think they just tried to like piece in information, so it sets a pace for the show, and it's really good. It's solid work, absolute great direction.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also watching Kanan right now, from PA Works, made by Type Moon, I believe is what we said the other day.
Yeah, the scenario is written by two Type Moon writers for get this, originally for 428 Shibuya Scramble.
Yeah, you said that was a Wii game, right? And
Yeah, it's a
it's just
visual novel with
type.
like, yeah, it's kind of wild. Like hit up Wikipedia about I always said it Kanan. Is it Kanan?
So
I
I
don't
thought
know.
it was Kanan, but I mean, I'm watching the dub because I got to watch the baby too. But
Yeah, of
the
course.
girl Maria Osakawa or whatever says Kanan every time, and I was like, I don't feel like you're saying that right, but whatever, I'll take it. Fine.
Let's roll with it. It really doesn't matter in the long run. I mean, some people, like, I remember whenever people when I was younger, people would call it manga.
Hmm.
Um, instead of manga, and I think I used to get kind of like a little upset about it, but like that's not the way it's pronounced. And then I realized that really doesn't matter. It's like you get the message across. Say it however you want.
Yeah.
We're gonna butcher some Japanese names in this show, I guarantee it. And like we're not the first people to do that sort of thing. So
No.
hey, let's roll with it. We know what we're talking about. And but yeah, you should check out like the Wikipedia article on that, and they talk about 428 Shibuya Scramble and like how this was an anime adaptation of that specific scenario from the game, and it's actually made me want to play 428 Shibuya Scramble. Um,
Mm, I don't know
it's a
about all
visual
that.
novel. I know that scares you.
Yeah, it's a very intimidating. Like if there's anything I'm going to finish, it's going to be Dark Souls before I finish a visual
Wow.
novel.
Oh,
If it's not
would you
AI, the Insomnium Files, I'll finish that. But
look?
that's different.
I want to start that. It's on my nightstand as like the next one once I finish one of these long ass JRPGs I had to wrap up. Um, but fuck, man. Would you finish Hollow Knight before you play a visual novel again?
No, I would never finish Hollow Knight. No, I'll finish Dark Souls, then a visual novel, and then Hollow Knight in that order.
Wow.
Because
I
at
think the
least
more people suggest a game to you, the more you hate it.
that I am very, very opposing to suggestion. Not entirely, but if I hear something like more than 5 times, I'm not gonna do it. Like
Oh, you're one of those kids.
yeah, it's like, oh, hey man, you should definitely play solitaire on the computer. It's like, oh, I'll check that out. You should play solitaire on the computer. I said I would check it out, and then it happens again. It's like I'm not playing that. Nope, it's too late. I'm pushing. I'm pushing now.
You're such a unique creature. I want you to know that.
I
But I
appreciate it.
bet you're susceptible to reverse psychology.
I could be. I have no doubt in my mind. It hasn't been used on me, or that it has been used on me to gain willfully. Oh,
Yeah.
I bet I could trick him. And all you really have to do is play on something easy. You just got to find the conversational loophole, and you could have me. It just
Yeah,
depends.
we could just try to talk time with you and you'll just get confused.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I am playing Final Fantasy VI. I guess it's
Yep.
already January.
Absolutely. All right. You watching anything else? Like, how do you like Kanan? Like, what is it exactly?
So it's a story about these three girls, two of which are assassins, and one is a reporter. And the reporter and her partner are chasing the assassins, and the assassins have just been chasing each other all over the world, either working for or with a organization called Snake. I'm kind of not really understanding what's going on there. And there's also this side plot with a ghost village where there's a lot of experimentation going on. Um, and it all connects somehow. But really, I would describe it as a rogue X-Men anime where
Hmm.
these two girls are that have this thing called synesthesia that gives them extra abilities. Where Kanan, all of her five senses don't just work regularly, but they also work in tandem together.
Oh,
Um,
really?
so she can see things or feel things, hear things a whole lot better than most other people, and it causes her to have these amazing reflexes, which makes her a really good assassin. And then there's this other girl that's chasing her, and I don't really know what her deal is, but they also run across another girl that has this super mutation thing, and she just has two appendixes and she's useless. And so you never know what's you never know what's going to happen next. But I'm kind of intrigued just to see where it's going to go, because I don't know. I started watching this when I first started getting into anime. I just found it somewhere. I was like, okay, I guess I'll watch this, and I don't think I finished it. I don't remember, but I'm willing to try it again just to knock it off the block and off the memory. But we'll see. I'll have an update next week if I don't just binge Shaman King and finish it in time. Are you watching anything else?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shaman King was my binge series today. Like I watched it all today.
Actually,
Um,
hang on. Are you watching The Detective Is Already Dead?
yes, I am.
Oh man.
I'm not talking about The Detective Is Already
Oh
Dead this
no. Are
week.
you are you gonna bring up Aruma Goon?
No, I'm not actually, because
Okay.
they haven't I watched episode 17 and I was like, I'll hold on to this. I'll hold on to this. I'll wait till the current arc is finished and then I'll talk about it again.
Hmm.
I'll save everybody the pain of listening to me gush over Iruma-kun again. But I did watch the movie Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop on Netflix, and it's an anime movie. It's 90 minutes. It's like 90 minutes, and it's just a sweet kind of summer romance anime. Like the main guy is it's just a boy who's like really loves haiku, and he's really shy, so it's kind of like how he communicates. And then the other main character is a girl who's kind of social and bubbly, but she has buck teeth and embraces, and she's very self-conscious of showing them. And it kind of shows how they meet and interact, and slowly come to like each other. um I wouldn't say it's an extremely deep romance series, but god, the colors in this anime are amazing. It's like watching a rainbow just take shape on the screen at all times. All the characters are really charming. It actually has so the main character works at a elder care place in a mall in kind of a like a rural town, and I thought that was really cool because there's very few cases where they show in series or movies like some of the elder care facilities and like how it's really handled. And it's a cool setup. Like everybody in this town knows this mall. It's this huge mall that everybody either like works at or spends time at because it's in a rural area. And like the girl live streams with her sisters and stuff like that, and everybody kind of knows each other. And it's just a well paced, cute little romance with some underlying story beats about love, and it's nothing complex. It's just really fun. The music is really good, and it has the right kind of beats of like, here's a sad moment, here's a happy moment. The characters don't become annoying if they don't stay around for too long. It's a really well paced movie. um, I can easily recommend it to everyone. It's not overly serious, so that makes it also enjoyable. I can start like a cool glass of lemonade on a hot day. That's how I describe this movie, and it's I recommend it highly. I watched that today too. I apparently just decided to watch all the anime today, but I also needed something
Wow.
to talk about besides Aruma-kun and The Detective Is Already Dead. Um, which man, I'm gonna get through The Detective Is Already Dead, but I've really thought about dropping it. But I think I'm gonna push through anyways. Kind of like you with Kanan. It's like you're like, I don't know where this is going or how it's gonna get there, but I'm gonna watch it anyways, and that's kind of where I land. I also started the new Higurashi, and I'm digging it so far. The Higurashi reboot it's solidly animated. And have you ever seen some of
It's
the animation from the original?
no. So I've avoided it because I just want to be exposed. I've actually wanted a really good horror anime, and I've watched a few, and I mean it's okay. Like the worst one I've seen is Blood Sea, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing like scares me. And really, Blood Sea wasn't even scary. It was just insane, grotesque. Like I don't know, but I've heard Higurashi. Like when they cry, is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Higurashi when they cry?
Absolutely, yeah.
I've heard that one's horrifying, and like I'm excited for it. Huh.
It is a solid horror series. Like the original was creepy enough, even with its not so great animation moments. Um, like I remember being like really into that. I mean, like, what the hell is happening on this show? Because it bounces from like one tone to the other really quickly, and it's very jarring and scary.
Mhm.
Um, and the new one is got much better animation. I just started it earlier, so I've only watched like the first episode. So I'm reserving a little more judgment as I get a little further. But I we're kind of creeping up on October, so I wanted something a little scary, and I had heard that this, most of it's out at this point,
Yeah.
so I feel a little bit better watching it, so I don't have to wait every week. I'm also excited about another kind of like horror themed series, but it's a little funny and kind of cute at the same time. Is Have you ever heard of was it Miyaruko-chan or Miyaruko-san? It's basically about this schoolgirl who's haunted by like really creepily drawn ghosts and her everyday life, and it ends up being sometimes like some wholesome shit, but it's got this like really terrifying like creatures in it.
No, that's
uh,
nice. I haven't heard of
yeah,
that.
I will have to show you some images from it, and you'll be like, "What the fuck?" But then, like, if you read the chapter, it's actually, pretty decent. It's a solid read, and they're making an anime for it. I think in the next season. So,
There's
right in
a
time for Halloween.
there's an anime me and my wife started one time. I don't think we finished it. I can't remember if we did, but it's one where the girl, like the description of the anime is that there's this girl that looks like the girl from The Ring, and
Oh
it's her
yeah.
trying to date this boy. I guess like a she's all that kind of situation. Or
Hmm.
well, no, except for it was a genuine like I think he liked her. Or
Hmm.
he tolerated her to liking her, and it was just funny because every time she showed up, it was just ghastly and just like kind of hey guys, and it was
Oh
just
yeah,
really funny.
that's Kimi no Todake.
Maybe I don't remember. I'll look it up. But you
Yeah,
Kimino to say it one more
it
time.
is Kimi no Todake.
Okay,
It's they end up giving her a makeover if I recall correctly, and she learns to kind of like socialize, and she ends up being this like beautiful girl. Um, Also, what was the name? There was a series called The Wallflower back in the day, and that was a similar thing. As this rich family has a daughter that like,
oh yeah,
and they bring in the four guys to kind of like give her a makeover and I guess fall in love with her or something like that. I don't remember all the details.
the dub for that is so offensive, and not
Really,
like a content way, but like it's just so horribly dubbed. Like it's very funny. We
there's some bad ones out there.
we tried watching it because we were just in the middle of one of our anime, me and my wife, and we saw the wallflower. And we thought, oh, that looks funny, maybe. Sure enough, it wasn't funny for the right reasons,
Mm-mm.
but
Yeah.
it was good. We got maybe 2 or 3 episodes in, and we are like, we can't handle this anymore. Let's find something else.
Yeah, I remember that being a big show for a while. It's now fallen out of favor, I think. That was one of those shows that kind of came after Boys Over Flowers, which was like a like huge hit back in the day. And
Hmm.
same concept, like one girl, like four really attractive guys. Um, whatever I forgot exactly what the caveat was for her being around them all the time. Uh, but I think they made a live action TV series, a live action movie, maybe multiple. I know there was an anime series. There's a lot of it. It was a huge hit for like shojo. Uh, like if you look up like iconic shojo series, Boys Over Flowers is pretty much always mentioned.
Hmm.
So,
We just added a bunch of shojos to our watch list for
ooh,
after whatever we watch after Yuna. She just gave me a bunch of names, and I looked them all up on Verve, and most of them were there. And so some of them looked funny, and some of them looked romantic. And so
yeah.
I'll deal with that. I like a good romance as long as the romance progresses. Like in Maid Sama, I really liked Maid Sama.
Maid
Going,
Sama was a solid anime adaptation. The manga dragged a little bit longer than I would have liked towards the end,
hmm
but the anime really is such a great experience. I know it's on a lot of people's top lists, and with all right to be. Like they really did a great job of adapting that to anime and kind of hitting the good points of the series and losing all the extra.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, when you're writing a weekly series like that, I imagine there's a lot of extra stuff you can throw in, and you want it to go on as long as possible. You don't want to end your story after like 20 chapters. And you're like, well, thanks for that weekly serialization. It was a good 6 months. I had fun. Like, no, these people they're trying to make money too. So they sometimes they have some extra chapters that aren't really, conducive to the plot. I always love it when people get mad about the progress of a couple in a series, a very popular series at that. Because it's like, what do you want? You want this thing to end in like 40 chapters and be like, that was a great story. I'm so glad it's over. That moment was perfect at the right pace. Now, no, like Comey can't communicate is one of my favorite series. And a lot of times when I'm in the comments, I see people like complaining about the progress of the like what is essentially the main couple, and they're completely missing the point of the series. The series is absolutely comedy before it's anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And it does that so well. And we're talking about visual comedy in a manga as well as actual like verbal jokes. And it's such a great series. And it's always such a bummer that people kind of like don't really think that hard on it. I mean, not everybody, of course. I'm not generalizing here, but I have seen more than I expected complaining that it doesn't move fast enough. And I just kind of always like this series is comedy gold and it's going strong at 300 chapters. Like, did you want it to end at 100? I don't know. But then again, my experience in comment sections of most places is that there's a lot of not so great comments.
That's fair. There's, I think we've talked about it here before, but one series we watched that I feel like I either missed the point or I just didn't really understand what was going on was Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun,
Oh yeah.
and it was just awful. Like, it was fun watching everyone come in and their side stories to introduce characters and relationships that never happened, that never flourished. And
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know if that was just the point to just, hey, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? And just tease you. But we once we got to that final episode and we were in that last stretch of like 10 minutes and we realized this ain't going nowhere. No one's getting in a relationship. There's not enough
Yeah.
time left for all these couples to end up. And maybe there was supposed to be a season 2. Maybe there was supposed to be more, but I don't know. It wasn't it, Chief. Not for that
I
first
don't
season.
know. Like I don't know if the manga's still going or whatever the case is. But I've heard that from a lot of people about the Nozaki anime is it's just the fact that it was really disappointing that it kind of ended with nothing happening, because it apparently did a great job of kind of getting people building that anticipation
Yeah.
for a payoff, only for it to just be like, all right, see you next time, guys, whenever,
Yeah.
and it might be a case of the manga's still going. I actually don't read the manga nor have I watched the anime, so in a rare case of a popular series I don't know anything about.
Yeah. I can't recommend it. I mean, if I do, it's only like the first 6 episodes. Getting everyone introduced is like fun. That it's a fun cast, but just nothing's going on.
See,
Or in the end, knowing how it ends, nothing happened.
my disappointing Shojo series is actually one that's apparently still insanely popular, and
Dragon Ball?
I no,
Is it? Oh,
it's not Dragon Ball.
it's
No,
not Dragon.
actually,
It's not Goku and Piccolo's arm.
oh,
It's
no,
oh,
yeah, no, it's
never
it's
mind.
definitely not that energy.
Mhm.
Um, it's Horimiya. That series is beloved, and I stand by what I said before about Horimiya. Is it's got some moments, but it desperately wants to be Suradure children, and it's just not. Like, it's kind of weird because it kind of spends a lot of time at one point and then rushes a lot right towards the end of the series. And it's like I went and found the web comic, and I kind of felt the same way. Like, even as it was starting to wrap up the web comic, it was the same thing. It's like, okay, hold on, we have a lot of like loose threads. Let's go tie them all up in about like 10 to 12 chapters. And it was just, I don't know, it disappointed me. I mean, there's, like I said, there's definitely some funny moments in that series, and it's got some great art. I like the main couple. The main lead, the female lead, is fantastic. I like her attitude and just how she goes about things, even with her weird, like, essentially like abuse fetish.
Her weird, yeah, her weird kink. It was
Yeah,
real weird.
yeah. I won't lie, it was kind of a funny moment when I saw it, but I was like, that's a very odd exchange in an anime. But hey, more power to you. but I don't know. Like, it was the idea that there's all these different people that come together as couples, or maybe they don't come together as couples. They're just interacting. And I like I said, Surajure Children did it better with also, I think, better comedy and better drama.
I agree.
So yeah,
We watched Surrogate Children before we watched
Horiyama,
Horiyama. We called it
Horimiya,
it's
Horimiya. Well, no,
yeah.
where did I get Horiyama from?
I call it Horiyama, and it's wrong.
You're
It's
wrong.
it's not how it says.
You
And
tricked me.
the thing is, I called it Horiyama so much, and me and my wife would come home every week and be like, "Oh yeah, let's watch a new episode of Horiyama." And then finally, we actually looked at what it said. It's like Horimiya, and it was wrong.
Like, it's so bad because you hit me with that damn duck season, wabbit season, duck season, wabbit season moment, and I ended up saying it wrong too.
So we really liked it up to that ending point, or not even that. The last couple episodes, we really just lost interest at like episode 8 or 9. We were done. We were checked out the anime, and we just felt like it wasn't going anywhere with the main couple, which is who we were invested in for the H anime. I can't say it the right way. I'm sorry.
You're not going to say it at all anymore?
I can't. No. But we really liked watching them build up to be somebody. But after they said "I love you," like, we were done. We got what we needed, and then it got to that scene at the end where they were supposed to like be together forever or whatever, and it was just them leaving high school, and it felt like there should have been more. And then all the loose threads getting like shoved into the shoe. It was we really didn't like that, especially all the side time we got with the green haired family. And I was like, I just want more of Hori and Yama. I don't care about their friends. I'm here for them. I didn't watch Dragon Ball for Krillin. I'm here for these guys.
I love that you messed it up even when you separated the two parts of the word.
I can't. I don't remember how to say
You
it.
said Hori and Yama, and it's Hori and Mia. Oh my god.
Oh, Hori Mia. Hori Mia. Yeah, I'm gonna try to forget it just because
absolutely.
I don't need to talk about this anime, but
it's
disappointing.
Like, it's like Shojo is such a great genre. There's so much good content there, but there's a lot of not so good content. We get in like one of the tropes in a lot of Shojo is like almost like abusive relationships that kind of like the guy's a jerk, like a real jerk, and she comes to like him anyways. My favorite example of this is a series. I think I think the name of the author was Miki Aihara. The series is called Hot Gimmick, and it's about this kind of like this cute but kind of wussy girl, and she grew up in this apartment complex with and it's a corporate apartment complex, so like the CEO's family lives in it, and all the way down to everybody in the company. It's a system that's like older now. Like, I don't think they do that anymore. Don't quote me, I don't live in Japan or work in Japan, but that's the setup. Is like, so you have the CEO's son Ryuji, who knew this girl when she was a kid, and her sister. There's another kid named Asuka, and he was like the good little boy, and her first crush when she was younger. And she ends up messing something up and becomes Ryuji, the CEO's son's slave, essentially. And he proceeds to be rude nice to her. Like, he treats her like property, berates her on a regular basis, but whenever somebody is like trying to mess with her and stuff like that, he interrupts and comes to her rescue while also being a jerk at the same time. And she and so the story goes on. There's all kinds of other dramatic shit, absolutely crazy dramatic shit, as a matter of fact. But in the end, she ends up choosing the CEO's son, Ryuji, and even though he was a big jerk, he turned out to be a nice guy in the end, I guess, or at least somebody she can tolerate. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's another one of those cases that like, man, this feels like Stockholm syndrome.
Does he not change over the show?
I mean, I think he's quieter than he is at the beginning, but he's still kind of a little bit of a like thorny jerk.
Yeah,
I think he just doesn't know how to talk to people, is what they covered in the story. And he's had a very overbearing like upbringing, so he doesn't necessarily know how to interact the way normal people do. But there's some other like drama in there. But this series is also the source of one of my favorite shoujo storylines, and that is So one of the characters
Goku
in the
and Piccolo's
story,
arm.
huh?
Is it Goku and Piccolo's arm?
No, it's not Goku and Piccolo's arm.
Okay. All right.
I
Sorry.
like. I know it's gonna disappoint you when I tell you this story because it's not Goku and Piccolo's arm.
It absolutely will. So just go ahead and ruin
Whatever.
me.
Anyways, one of the characters in the story is like the best friend of Ryuji, and he's like this kind of like nerdy kid. He's a nerdy kid. He's like an otaku. He likes nerdy shit.
Just
And of course,
fucking
like in
dork.
yeah, he's a fucking dork.
Yeah.
But apparently his sister is really into fashion, so he dresses really nicely. So he kind of like pseudo fits in. That's the explanation for it.
Okay.
But the main girl's sister is kind of a little bit of a slut, and is like the popular girl in her class and everything. And she ends up kind of getting saved by the nerdy kid he saves her, but he doesn't really care. He's just like, all right, anyway, just moving on. And she kind of starts to be a little smitten with him, and it's actually really interestingly written to the point where he's not like diehard otaku, like really socially inept kind of thing. He's just kind of shy and he likes nerdy stuff and he gets excited about nerdy stuff, but he's pretty normal looking, especially if in Shojo he looks like though they describe him as like the nerd and kind of like not the attractive one, he's still drawn really attractively.
Mhm.
So, and the little sister ends up becoming interested in him and actually like kind of starts to learn about who he is, what he likes, and that there's more than what everybody tells her about him. And so she starts hanging out with him, and she kind of makes some changes of her own in her own lifestyle and becomes a little bit less impulsive and reckless in her behavior, because she almost gets into some tough spots. And he ends up coming to like her, and they end up getting together in the end. But I thought it was it's an otaku getting a girlfriend storyline, but that's not really tropey, and I really liked it. It's interspersed throughout the entire series whenever it happens, but it's probably one of my favorite kind of breaks the mold storylines. Sadly, it's in a shojo that is in a genre of shojo that I'm not usually a fan of. Art's solid though, love the art.
There's one shojo that's real popular. I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called. It's got this one girl they call the Palm Tiger, and the guy has like a villain face or the resting bitch face.
Toradora, she's the
Toradora.
palm top tiger. Her actual name is Taiga, and his name is Ryuji. Is it Ryuji? I think it's Ryuji, and of course Ryu means dragon. So the title is Tora tiger and Dora dragon.
Tora, Dora, Hora, Maya. Oh, okay, no, not matching
If
up.
you can't hear me shaking my head, but I'm just shaking my head in disappointment at this gentleman.
Okay, so that one was. I think we got halfway through that one, and that was fun to watch. But it was kind of like an abusive start, or like a weird enslave you kind of friend kind of start. I don't really get the thing there.
Yeah, tsundere anime is a weird creature. Because there was that period where was it Kugamiya is the actress's name? She did the voice of Taiga, Louise from Zero no Skyma, and she did another tsundere character, Shana from Shakugan no Shana. And yeah, there's definitely some weird dynamics in those series, especially with the tsundere is like portrayed at that time frame. Like they were truly abusive. They would hit the guys and like do terrible things to them. And I think that tsunderes now are a little bit less violent. And because that was my thing, is like during that era, the violence level for tsunderes was a little jarring. Because I get the idea that they're kind of like hot and cold, like they don't really like. They say they don't really like the person, but they do. But having them beat up on them like seriously was a little rough. Even back then when I was younger and I could like suspend my disbelief to that point, it was a tough one to swallow. If it wasn't for the fact that most of those titles that I gave you actually have really great other parts of the storyline, like it would have turned me off. Toradora almost did. But some of the friendship dynamics and some of the conversations they have in it are actually pretty solid. I think there's a little bit of filler in there that I'm not a fan of. I kind of felt the length of Toradora was a little long for what they were trying to accomplish. But overall, I really enjoyed that series. I really liked Ryuji. I liked he had the face of a gangster. Like everybody thought he was scary, but he was literally like the most like toothless character in the show.
Yeah.
Like
The
absolutely.
it he was nice, and one of the other things I just didn't like about the show was hands. Um, the artists involved had some really odd portions for hands, like Mickey Mouse levels of
Really?
portions. Yeah, if you watch it and you pay attention to, or at least the one girl it stands on is the really sporty redhead girl.
Mm-hmm.
Um, her hands are just fucking huge for no reason, and it is just jarring is a good way to put that. It's just,
Yeah.
whoa, what is with your hands?
So that's funny that you mentioned that, because I think that just happens in anime sometimes, is like, you know, you don't expect to be paying attention to that fact, but sometimes you just catch some odd animation choices. Because like I think that, you know, overall you're just supposed to be paying attention to the whole thing, and maybe you wouldn't notice it, but like earlier in Shaman King, there is a scene in Shaman King, like I'm curious if you'll spot it in one of the episodes, where it seems like Yo's head is way too big for his body based on the perspective that he's been drawn. And I just started laughing, like I almost spit out my big red. Shows you how Texan I am. Because it would just look so comical.
Hang on, hang on. Are big reds a Texan thing?
Apparently I've heard that
I,
before.
I'll have one in sparing occasions, but like
Absolutely.
that's not something Texans keep in the fridge.
Like I mean, I've kind of heard it described as a southern thing, and I don't like. That's the thing. I bought a 20 ounce of Big Red. I didn't like buy a bunch of it. I just bought a 20 ounce. I was like, I haven't had one in a long while. I want one,
I think it's
and
just you funding that scheme.
whatever.
I've never seen someone buy a thing of Big Red.
I'm gonna
That's
I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna research this. Like I know this has nothing to do with anime, but now it's gonna be an anime arc.
I couldn't just the Big Red arc. I just couldn't leave that alone. I've never heard that stereotype for a Texan. Oh yeah, they got their 10-gallon hats filled with Big Red.
I mean, the Dr Pepper is considered like a Texan thing too.
Yeah, that's sure.
So that one's solid, but not the Big Red.
No one just drinks Big Red like that. That's fiction, not fact.
Well, I can't have Red Flash. God damn it!
I see. I see what you're going for. Okay, I'll allow it.
All
I'll
right.
allow it.
So your wife is clearly a huge shojo fan, and she has directly influenced you. Is there any other shojos that kind of like jump out at you?
No, not that she hadn't introduced me to. The biggest one is Maid Sama, or biggest ones, Maid Sama and Fruits Basket. We're gonna go back to Kami-sama Kiss at some point.
Hmm.
We talked about that. I think I got halfway through it and I just fell off for some reason. I think Fruits Basket picked back up.
Oh
The new
yeah.
season aired, and so we dropped everything for Fruits Basket. Um, but yeah, she finds these animes in different places, really good romances or something like top whatever romance animes, and normally rolled that. And so far, I haven't been disappointed.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but
I my shojo like love actually comes from Sailor Moon. Um, I remember my first big one that I like, the episode that really kind of caught me back in the day, that and it made me really happy, was there is an episode of Sailor Moon where Sailor Jupiter, the kind of tall sporty type, falls in love with this guy who's really good at UFO catchers. And I was like, I don't know why it hit me like he's really good at claw machines, and she's impressed with this, and she's like falling in love with him, and she's like not normally the kind of like girly girl in the group.
yeah,
And it just, I like, I started realizing I liked the romance aspect of the show, like Tuxedo Mask and Sailor Moon being part of it. Was cool, but I liked whenever it started expanding on some of the other characters. There is you know I liked that episode because it was hugely nerdy, and then the bad guys try to steal his life force, and it turns out, because he's got this power to like be really good at claw machines. It's silly, but it was fun and it was cute, and I liked it, and it kind of made me excited to see like how it went. And it was a episodic thing, so it was over by the end of the episode. But
Yeah.
then there was also another character that in the dub, his name was Melvin, and he was the nerdy friend that would follow around Usagi, and he's got like the swirly glasses from back in the day.
I think I remember. I think I remember him.
Yeah, and so he ends up kind of falling for her best friend. I think they called her Misa, if I recall correctly. And she had a great storyline in that series too, where she fell in love with one of the bad guy characters, and they had a really cool story arc in that. And then after that, she started becoming closer to Melvin, just through different story beats that happened. Like I encourage everybody to go back and watch the original 90s Sailor Moon, because it's a solid watch. There's definitely some like monster of the week kind of episodes and things like that,
Yeah.
but when it hit good story beats, like with overarching multi episode kind of plot lines, it was a really good shojo with a mix of magical girl. And I fuck with that shit. It was amazing.
I
It's so
think
good.
my wife, or she did watch it not long ago, and I tried watching a couple episodes with her, and I couldn't do it. Not because of the goofy monster of the weeks or anything like that, but I can't deal with transformation sequences anymore.
Oh, really?
I it offends me, like how many there are, or just how long they take. I'm like, man,
Oh,
really,
yeah.
y'all really milked this one. Y'all did
Look,
it
I'm not gonna lie.
twice.
The original Sailor Moon series was remarkably bad about really milking that transformation scene. I think at one point they had it so there was a full transformation scene for all five of the Sailor Senshi, and I think even my young ass at the time was like, "This is nuts. That's way too long." That was 7 minutes straight of transformation. Now they're gonna fight this enemy and beat it in like one hit.
Because
Like, I don't
Power
know.
Rangers will do that, but they'll split the screen up in 5 segments, so you can see everyone transform. Everyone gets their time, but it just it eats up that airtime as well. But you don't have to wait for 5 individual segments of one girl doing the same thing she did in the other episodes.
And the thing is, they eventually sped that up and like kind of cut off a bunch of frames and like shortened the transformation sequence, because they started having to, having more lengthy stories to tell. So that was something to really look forward to.
American
Uh,
Dragon Jake Long did the same
really,
thing when he
really.
would say "dragon up" and he would turn into the dragon. They really shortened it down to where it wouldn't be the sequence of the fires around him. It would just be, now he's a dragon. Let's go.
So what? Okay, so I this was outside of my years. Like, what did you say it was? American Dragon Jake Long.
Hmm.
So it was he was a boy though, right?
Yeah.
So he's
Oh,
essentially a
he was a
magical
boy.
boy show.
Well, mm, yeah.
Transformation
Yeah.
sequences,
I guess you could say that.
mystical powers that allow him to take on enemies
Yeah.
that he wouldn't normally be able to do.
Yeah.
Was there a cute mascot character?
It wasn't cute, but there was this bulldog. But the dog was the best character. His name was Foo Dog. And I looked up his voice actor, and he's been in everything. And it's so funny.
Wait, the dog talked?
Yeah, he talked.
Yeah, that's a magical boy show.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely 100% hit all the requirements to be considered either magical girl/boy show.
Nice.
Like,
Nice.
solid 100% confirmed. And I know you kind of brought that up to be a little funny, but it's solid. Like, wow, that's
It's
absolutely
a magical
amazing.
boy show. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's neat to have a genre to put to it.
Oh man.
Oh, my favorite magical boy show, American Dragon Jake Long.
Odd conversation to have at the middle school there, Trey.
Yeah. Oh no.
Wildly inappropriate joke over. So in magical girl form, I kind of went from shoujo to like magical girl here, but have you ever heard of a series called Magical Girl Lyrical Nanaha?
I think we've talked about Nanaha. That
Yeah,
sounds familiar.
I think I may have talked about it before, but I'm just going to talk about it again because I freaking love it. I'm so sad we lost that license. We only had it for a little while. I think they only released the first 2 seasons, but it's essentially, as I described it, was a magical girl show where the magical girls get Dragon Ball Z level powers. Like, they shoot gigantic laser blasts at each other and have giant laser swords and stuff. It's not like this, like kind of like overly pretty stuff, and it actually gets pretty dark at a few occasions. It's so it's hilarious that we don't have this anymore because it really fits into the genre that a lot of people like, and it's a shame we haven't had it licensed. I mean, there was multiple shows in the series. There was the original show, there was Lyrical Nanaha A's, I think there was Lyrical Nanaha Vivid, and I think there was one more. There were yeah, I think A's was Aces. Never mind. But yeah, it was a great show. I loved it to death. I actually watched it on fan subs. I had the video game on the PSP. That's how much I love that show. And then it's also the source of my very first figure. This is where it started, folks. This
The
is
origin story.
This is where the figure love started, because I used to shop at an anime store online called Anime Castle, and they had this. There's a company that makes figures called Alter, and they make good quality figures, and they're usually kind of big. Like my Purple Heart figure, the really big Neptunia figure I have, is also made by Alter. Well, they had a Fate Testarossa figure where she had the big huge yellow laser sword, and it like she had a base, and her cape was all the way out. It was this huge figure. The box was probably about 1.5 feet wide, and the figure wasn't much smaller than that, and I dropped every bit of money I had at the time onto that figure because I wanted it. I was like, this is it. This is the thing. I'm finally biting the bullet. I'm gonna buy a figure, and this is it. And then from that point on, I was hooked, and I've spent far more money on figures than I care to ever admit.
I'm starting to get into stickers. Stickers are pretty cool. I don't have room for figures, so I got stickers instead. I got one from
No,
this nice Houston-based company called Senpai Lifestyle. Give a little shout out to them. They have pretty good quality stickers. They ship pretty fast, like within a week after ordering.
oh wow.
Yeah, and they're pretty good. I've got some stickers from them and another one called Express. Ooh, I don't want to mess up their name. I'll look them up and shout them out next time. But
Was that
stickers are,
Express Skins or something like
I
that?
think, Express Skins.
Yeah, we'll look it up and give them a shout out next time. I like it's hilarious. I love the Facebook algorithm for advertising because I get a certain amount of anime watching in or anime browsing in, and all of a sudden, like a lot of the suggestions are anime shit.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it'll be a random. Like I was like, I wonder what kind of printer I need to do this, and then I'll look it up, and all of a sudden, Facebook is suggesting that I buy printers from somewhere. It's kind of disturbing in a way, but it's also really funny because I've found some pretty decent companies that way. So it's not unheard of for me to find good products. So.
That's the man watching you.
Oh man, I hate to admit this. I was gonna make recommendations this episode, but I think I don't have any because we already recommended all of them. In the process of talking about Shojo, yeah, because I mean I hit Nanaha, I hit freaking was it Surgery Children, Hot Gimmick. Like I remember I actively was going to recommend Hot Gimmick, and we just ended up talking about Shojo and magical girl stuff. And don't get me wrong, there's still tons of magical girl stuff to talk about. Like I can go back all the way to like Minky Momo, and yeah, that
sounds bad.
no, it sounds bad, doesn't it? Yeah. There is a magical girl show called Creamy Mommy.
Yikes.
Yeah, and that sounds inappropriate, but that's actually just like that's the name of the show. It's like an old magical girl show. But do you remember like this is the last little fun fact before I'm gonna kind of shut up for a second. We were talking about Megumi Hayashibara being in Shaman King.
Yeah, are you talking about the part where Goku and Piccolo's arm?
God damn it.
Are you talking
God damn it.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you remember when Pokemon did a tribute to her?
No, what'd they do?
They did an episode where they were in a theater, and they brought on like the actors for the theater, and one of them kind of had this like Jessie colored hair, and if I recall correctly, it's actually like Jessie disguised, but it shows her in all the different characters that Megumi Hayashibara. God, that woof. God, I hope I haven't been saying that wrong the whole episode. Oops. It shows all the little. It shows like kind of a Jessie colored version of a lot of her famous roles in anime. I think it shows was it Lime from Saber Marionette J, the female Ranma from Ranma One Half, uh, Nuku Nuku from Cat Girl, Nuku Nuku Dash or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They show her in the form of Paprika, Lena Inverse. I think it's Ihara from Detective Conan, and it was this whole thing. It was really really cool kind of thing they did. I think it's like back in 2018 or something like that. But I
It
remember
was.
catching it because somebody told me that it had happened, and I made a point to go find the episode, and I still like watching some Pokemon every once in a while. I mean, I know it's a kids show, but it's fun. It has there's some creative like jokes on there. Like I don't know if you remember like they have an episode where they basically parody Mobile Fighter Gundam G or G Gundam.
In Pokemon?
Yeah, absolutely. There's an episode with I think it's a girl and Brock, and they do the whole like combined shining finger attack from the end of G Gundam. I'll have to
No,
find the
I
clip and
didn't
show it to you.
I didn't know anything about this. That's
Oh
great.
man, yeah, like no, like the Team Rocket has kind of like a mech in the design of like Master Asia's like final like evil mech,
Yeah.
and Brock and this girl that he's with are in like an opposing like mech, and they do the whole like combined move.
What on earth? They're
Yeah,
they're out of control.
Pokemon's been running like 20 something years. Of course, they gotta,
They can do what
have
they
some
want.
fun. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some iconic voice actresses and actors in that series. I mean, was it Shokotan? I believe she's the voice of Pikachu. So, and she's huge as well over there, or she was. I don't know if she still is. I'm kind of out of touch on a lot of things,
No, I
but
found this image of Jessie and that voice actress, and it's pretty cool. It's a nice little banner
mhm.
of all the different, I guess, forms of that lady and Jessie art, and it's pretty cool seeing the Faye Valentine one.
Oh yeah, that's
That was
right.
pretty
Yeah,
cool. I don't really recognize a lot of these other ones. I see the Ranma one half. I just because I recognize that style. Um, but man, that's pretty neat.
yeah.
That's cool when they can do something like that.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Slayers, and so I love Lena Inverse. And then Lime is a character from Saber Man and J, a series that is funny and cool and really awesome, but sadly it is out of print. It was released by Bandai Entertainment back in the day, but no one has relicensed it since. Speaking of random licenses, Gunbuster has been licensed by Discotech, and I can't be happier because I haven't been able to find a way to buy Gunbuster like at a reasonable price for better part of a decade at this point. So
Mm.
the original Gunbuster from Gynex, like that is some top level old school classics.
Well, I think for a final bit of news and probably our penultimate final bit, Digimon has a new series coming out. Digimon Ghost Game. They released some visuals for who the Digimon are going to be and the main protagonist, who the main protagonist doesn't have goggles. So that's pretty alarming to a lot of people.
Oh, oh
It's
no.
a little offensive, honestly. If I
Yeah.
can
I
take someone
mean,
to court about it, or they could see me outside, I'll fight.
wait,
Um,
is this different from Digimon Survive?
yes, well, yeah, Digimon Survive's been pushed back. Oh yeah, that too. So Digimon Survive's been pushed back, but there's also another Digimon series coming up. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on, but they're
I really just need to like bite the bullet and go watch Digimon because all of you guys are really into Digimon. Like I mean, we even played the trading card game
yeah,
at our gathering, and like I remember being into at least some of the first season, but sadly at that time I usually had like I think it was like football practice or band practice or something on Saturdays, and so I always
yeah.
missed out on it. And
So
I was too busy to be bothered to record it.
I wouldn't bother with watching all the series except Digimon Tamers. That's my personal favorite.
Really,
Yeah. Oh God, I cried at the end of it. It was it was good. I didn't expect tears at a Digimon show, and
really, wow.
I was like, oh my God, all right, this is stupid, stupid Digimon.
did
But
you go back and watch all the try stuff like where they're older?
I've got the first two movies on my Google Play account. I gotta go watch them. I just haven't done it yet because it's 6 movies. Christ, I can barely watch all my anime. Um, so there's a guy on YouTube who his name is Billiam. He's covered all the Digimon series to kind of get you up to date so that you don't have to
Hmm.
watch and divulge hours upon hours of your time. It's only like an hour to kind of catch up or play catch up. And it's a nice little package. He kind of wraps everything up in. But Billiam, like William with a B.
Hmm.
But it's pretty cool. I can send you a link.
Yeah, absolutely. I love stuff to kind of like be kind to my time. But yeah, this is inadvertently become a Shojo Magical Girl random
Yeah.
podcast episode. But hey, that's fun. I like these kind of rabbit hole kind of journeys we go on.
Yes, sir. Man, oh god, I don't even know how we got to where we were. It, it I'm gonna have to when I'm going through listening and editing. It's gonna be. I'm gonna try to make a roadmap of how we get to each rabbit hole, and maybe a
Oh
tree
Jesus,
of all the diverging that we do. I think that'd
there's
probably
gonna it's gonna be yeah. It's like it splits off from the top and gets more branches as you go down.
it's gonna look like a messed up family tree. That's what it's gonna look like. Well, Steven, do you have any other closing comments, questions, concerns?
Oh no, not at all. I feel like we've covered a lot today, and I've had a lot of fun with it. And it's hot as heck in here, so I definitely need to turn down the AC a little bit and
Yes,
take it
sir.
easy.
Please do. Don't sweat. So, with that, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. If you would like, you can hit us up on Twitter at the Senko Podcast. That's SENKOU Podcast on Twitter. Um, there's also an email if you want to send us anything through that. It's Senpai Kouhai Podcast at gmail.com. We're also on all your streaming services. I mean, including the one you're listening to this on now. But YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, on all that. So we'll see you next time. Have a good time, Steven.
Later.